Holy shit. All right. We took a grip of notes here on the one peg Q&A with Iron Mace. As you can see here, we got a ridiculous amount of notes we took. Bro, there's some crazy changes. Let's go over it. All right. Let's do, what should we do first? I'm putting up one at a time here. All right. We don't, because there's so much. There's so much. We'll pull up. Let's get the boring stuff out of the way real quick. Okay, they just went over the legal stuff here. Legal update, misconceptions. They just said pretty much there's 3 charges, right? Copyright infringement, unfair business practices. Those were the serious ones. They were not convicted of. Trade secrets, they got convicted of, and they were fined a shit ton of money. They did confirm that they paid all the fines up front. So they no longer owe the money for the trade secrets fine. But keep in mind, Nexon did appeal the copyright infringement and unfair business practices. So there is a small possibility that they could still be convicted on these two. The appeal process is, in the next month they'll figure it out? I think October or something. And the trade secrets, Iron Mace appealed because they feel like they didn't justify the burden of proof to overturn the charges. Iron Mace not likely to be shut down. Okay, that's something else. They pretty much just said the amount of money, where's it at? The fine doesn't justify the amount of damages, is pretty much. And they already paid the money up front, so they're hoping they can get an appeal and they can get their money back from that. But we'll see. That was the boring shit. Now for the absolute insane stuff, we got a sneak peek on some of the 50, 60 perks and skills and adjustments, bro. All right? First, we'll go through region lock here. They acknowledge they pretty much literally said that there's been infiltrators on the West server, aka the Nubians. There is a chance that they'll revert it. They think they probably will when water map drops. Perks and skills. They said that there's nothing new yet, but they said they're revamping everything. But then after that, I'm guessing later in the wipe, they're going to be adding new ones. Tumble, no buff. Get fucked. Trap Mastery. Okay, so these are some of the new buffs that's going to be on Water Map. Trap Mastery, pick up traps back to inventory. So if you're a ranger and you put a trap down, if you're in Trap Mastery, you can pick it back up and it doesn't just disappear. Purge Shot for ranger is now going to be a perk. So that's broken as fuck. I don't know how that's going to work. I'm assuming there's going to be a built-in cooldown as well, so it's not just a permanent Purge Shot for every time you shoot somebody, they just lose their buffs. But that's going to be fucking insane. Party Maker, this is another one. They said it's no longer a perk. They said it's a skill, and when you use it, I guess nobody in your vicinity gets drunk. So, not really sure how viable that'll be, but you never know. That actually could be kind of fire, low key. But we'll see. Huge druid nerf, bro. Shapeshift Mastery. If you take Shapeshift Mastery, the perk, you can't use Spirit Magic, so you can't heal and shit, I guess. So that's a W nerf. Because, like, the annoying part of the druids, right, is they would be able to shapeshift, run away, turn, and heal real quick, right? But now, if they shapeshift and run away, they're actually going to have to hit bandages and drink potions and stuff the slow way. They're not going to be able to instant heal, which is fucking a W idea. W Iron Mace for this. This is needed. Holy Water's another one. They said gets rid of the debuff, then gives you the Bless spell, which is kind of cool. Wait, was this Holy Water, or was this Cleanse? I'm sorry, this was Cleanse. Pretty sure they said Cleanse. The spell. It gets rid of the debuff, and then if you get rid of a debuff, then it gives you Bless. That's what it is. The biggest change of them all, they buffed Spirit Bomb, bro. Dark Offering. From 15 seconds to 45 seconds. Yo, promos with the raid? Yo, W promos, bro. Ugh. But yeah. Holy shit, dude. We're going to be slamming cheeks next season with Dark Offering. Crazy style. Time Distortion, they said debuff timer gets duration increase. Magical damage bonus penalty is smaller, so that's a buff. I don't really play Sword because that class is cringe, but I guess it's a buff. Then they mentioned Eldritch Shield with shards. They said, it was kind of hard to understand what they were saying, but I think they said if you use your shards to consume Eldritch Shield, you get 30%. I'm guessing it would be 10% per shard, right? So it would be 10% per shard, magic power, and spellcast speed while you cast dark spells when your shield is active. I'm guessing that's what they're meaning, but we'll see. And then they were talking about people running to reds. They said that they pretty much want people to do that because they want the majority of the sweaty PvP to be down at the lower floors. So to like create like a kind of like a vacuum to the bottom floor, they're just keeping them open. They're not going to put levers on, which kind of makes sense, I guess. You know. They don't want everybody dying on first floor. That would kind of be weird. And then continuous dungeon. They pretty much acknowledge the continuous dungeon issues. But they said they got to tune it down. They got to work with it. And then, yeah, let's see. This is another one. Player feedback. I don't even know what they were saying. Yeah, I don't even know. Pretty much they said they got to rebuild the trust. We all know this. It's the 50 perk skill spells. They're adjusting. We were just talking about a few of them, but there's going to be a shit ton more, so that's going to be interesting. They also said that they were adding somebody else to the balance team. I don't know if they have like a whole balance team or if they just added one more person, but STF agrees. Headshot multiplier is too high. That's a W. So my guess is instead of 200%, it's going to be 175 probably. They'll probably adjust it down to 25. Gear brackets. I don't know what the fuck they were saying with this. What do you guys think? They were saying like they relied on the headshot multiplier now because of the player count. I'm not really understanding what they meant by that. I guess they want people to die quick. I don't know. Next season preview. Okay. So they said there was a new secret mechanic that may cause like a big upheaval. And it's over here. I think, okay, so the secret change is called Faustian Bargain, where you can bargain your life or you can make deals with the devil in the game. So that's going to be interesting. They said it might cause mayhem and chaos, but people might quit. I don't know. Let's see. This wasn't good. Okay, they mentioned next season the social spaces are getting delayed again. I think they mentioned that there has to be like a financial incentive. They haven't figured out how they want that to work because I think originally they wanted people to buy the social spaces, but I think they're going to get a big pushback on that. And they said it has to be business, you know. They have to make money off of it, essentially. So they're still trying to figure that out. They pretty much said when wipe starts, they're going to be going on vacation too. Yeah, which is also why it's delayed. Water map is going to be a selectable map, so there's not going to be any HR on water map. They also said that there's going to be a express spin somewhere on the map, even though you can't go down and there's no HR. So that'll be interesting. I'm guessing that there's going to be an express spin. It's probably going to be in the outer side or somewhere where there's like a boat, and you're going to give it to him, and he's like sitting next to a boat or something, because that would make sense, because he'd take it off like the island or whatever. Let's see. Arena rewards. There's going to be no arena rewards in the next season. Quivers and backpacks delayed again to season 8. DLC pack. This was an interesting change. They said you no longer can buy market slots with that. They realized that was an issue. They said it's just going to be cosmetics. Cosmetics and an extra shared stash. That's it. Everything else is not going to be there. So I'm guessing potions, bandages isn't going to be there, because they did get a lot of pushback from, you know, pay for convenience or pay to win, if you will. Twitch drops confirmed next season. SSF for first 2 weeks confirmed. Wipe date is going to be September 23rd. One Peg was like pressing him. He was like 100% by midnight. He said we're going to do our best, but you already know. So just expect to have probably the 24th off if you're wanting to play the game, to be honest. My ass will call out. You already know. Let's see. Combining solo duo true HR leaderboard for AP grind. This is going to be interesting. So you know how like now you go in solos and your AP is different. Like say you're like, I don't know, Wanderer in solos, but you're, you know, Exemplar in duos. It's all going to be combined. So that's going to be a lot easier for people to get it. It's not even really going to be an AP grind unless they adjust the numbers now. It's just going to be free. And then they were also talking about, they were asking questions about friendly interactions in HR, and One Peg was kind of pushing them on, he kind of wanted them, like, yeah, why isn't there any friendly interactions in HR? And their answer was, it's HR, it's supposed to be sweaty, and I agree. I don't think there should be friendly interactions in HR. So teaming is completely not allowed, and you'll get banned for that. So that's a W. Let's see. More on the water map. This is going to be sick. They confirmed 2 new artifacts, right? I'm pretty sure one's going to be a spear. I don't know the names, but one's going to be a spear. DTZ with the follow W. One's going to be a spear. The other one's going to be a war maul, I believe. Okay, this got me excited. The 2 bosses, obviously, we all saw the Stingray. They mentioned Blade Hand, and they said it goes with the pirate theme, so I'm guessing it's going to be like a fucking pirate boss, dude. With the cutlass or something and a fucking flintlock. That shit's going to be cinema, dude. Another one. Water map is going to be a 7x7. This is going to be the most fucking insane shit ever. Edward Teach, good comms. Yeah, so it's gonna be 7x7. We've never had a map this big before, so that's gonna be crazy. Which I'm guessing is why there's no HR yet, because they're like, they're figuring it out. I'm guessing it's gonna be really laggy too. Like a 7x7 map with all that water, I feel like it's gonna be cooked in the beginning, but we'll see. Yeah, no HR, no lower floor, express spin. Yeah, we talked about that. Interesting. So we got a new game mode. This is fucking sick, dude. They got a fucking 0 to hero game mode. They called it Squires to Riches. It's pretty much just Squire lobbies, and I think they said it's on a rotation, and you can get HR, is what they were saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that'll be interesting. You can actually do 0 to heroes, which is nice. And I think they did this to like take, I don't know. They were mentioning about taking pressure off of normal lobbies, people going in geared normal lobbies, but I don't really know. I guess that could help. Then they mentioned the random dungeon testing. They helped them with fixing the matchmaking pools that they had. They're not doing gear brackets because it doubles the matchmaking pool. Beatit with a follow, W. And then, okay, new huge thing. New weapons. Hand cannon and cutlass. So, I think they didn't confirm what classes can use hand cannons, but they were like making it seem like only the ranged classes can. So my guess would be Bard for sure, Ranger for sure, and then maybe Fighter with Weapon Master can use it. That's just my guess. Cutlass, though, was confirmed to be usable by Warlocks, so you better fucking believe we're doing some diabolical hybrid Warlock Cutlass builds. Shit's gonna be insane with Crystal Ball. Okay, most weapons now have a blocking mechanic, which is gonna be sick. The Rapier is getting riposte, W. Druid is getting a penguin form, L. They did say no new spells. This kind of bums me out, not gonna lie. But they were saying that they have to, like, fix everything first. You know, they got to adjust all the underutilized stuff, and then they're going to start adding stuff. And then One Peg asked about the old school RuneScape voting system. Where, you have to have a certain many hours and level to vote, and 70% of the players agree. It gets implemented. They pretty much just said no, so it's not going to happen. And then the Faustian bargain, we talked about that, where you make a deal with the devil or something. This is going to be interesting. They said it may cause chaos, but if anything, it'll be really interesting. So that's cool. Let's see, what else do we got over here? We got talent trees next season. I think he said yes. It was kind of hard to understand what he was saying, but I'm pretty sure he said yes. Or they're working on it. Pretty sure it was a yes. Cloak skins is a maybe. They have to individually make the cloak skins. So they understand that build variety and more... No, this was they were talking about build variety over more content, because people were wondering, like, people want to be able to play the characters that already exist with differently, as opposed to just, throwing on different maps and stuff, but then they mentioned the whole reason they wanted the water map was to figure out the swimming mechanics, which they did. Now they're talking about expanding the game loop, which they talked about. Gathering Hall is really important, but obviously they're figuring that out now, and how that's going to work with their finances, I guess. Because STF wants personal housing, because he grew up playing Ultimate Online, pretty much what it was. Arena, there's no new artifact arena this semi wipe. They're not doing any more hot fixes until water map drops. Once again, it's on the 23rd, so that's 5 days. 4 days? 4 or 5 days. And then this, I know this pissed off NBoss. They said they use Arena to test which modules are really bad and adjust them accordingly. I know NBoss was crashing the fuck out when they said that, bro. Yeah, because some of them Arena modules are dog shit. But what do you do? Then they talked about server performance. They said they gotta look into it more. Because they were also talking about region lock, and I don't know. That's a whole nother thing. New classes. They want Monk to be for season 8, so that'll be interesting. So how long are these seasons? 3 months. So if water map is next week, then we'll just say they said 3 seasons a year, right? So 4 months, about 4 months out, we'll have Monk. Bowers with the follow, Debbie. Quick looting issues. I didn't like this. They were talking about how they understand the quick looting issues with druids aping and just stealing shit and people just stealing gear, but they said that the fix that they had before, where it would take a long time for them to loot, was just kind of like a quick bullshit fix. So they said they're gonna tweak it a little bit, and then he mentioned kind of like the Tarkov's discovery feature, where when you're like looting it, it'll reveal it one piece at a time in their inventory. I think they were mentioning that they might add that. But that'll be interesting. The looting solution they have is dog shit. Yeah, I agree. I'm not really happy about that, to be honest. But they also did mention that the new game mode they have is really going to help against stream snipers and stuff. And I guarantee you a lot of the issues was like stream snipers harassing the dungeons, all the druids and shit. So, but let me check. What else do we have? Did I miss everything, or is that it? Party Maker, Dark Offering, we got that. Legal stuff, talent trees. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We got it all. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting, dude. Like I said, I wasn't really too happy with the beginning of their performance, but low key, there was some bangers they dropped at the end. They should have mentioned some of the shit in the beginning, low key, because people were like, "What the fuck is this?" They should have like had like 10 like we had to prod for the new adjustments to the new abilities. They should have just been like, bro, let's pull out 10. Let's let them know 10 of the changes out of like the 60 we're gonna do. Let's get them hyped up. You know, they should have started with that. They should have started with the new game mode, but it always seems like they're like trying. I understand they don't want to like spoil too much, so they were kind of holding back, and then they always end up giving and just telling us stuff. But shit's gonna be fire, dude. All I'm gonna say is Warlocks can use Cutlass. We finally got another one-hander, so get fucked. You guys are all getting cooked next season, especially with Dark Offering. It's going to be fucking cinema. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. The wipe is on the 23rd. They confirmed Twitch drops. Last time Twitch drops wasn't right away, so my guess it's going to be either a week or 2 weeks after the 23rd. So probably the 30th or a week after that is my guess. But, interesting. Talent Tree is not this upcoming season. This is the next season, by the way. Is that what they said? Well, they said next season, but they may have assumed that we are on this next season. So yeah, Talent Trees may not be for season 8, essentially. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. W. I thought that was pretty good. One Peg did a really good job asking these questions this time. Last time wasn't too good, but this time he asked pretty much every question. So W1 Peg, bro. W1 Peg.